That being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick, and if you're new, you will become a subscriber by the end of this. BlackRock just said the quiet part out loud, confirming what I've been saying on this channel for months. We need to really deal with this, especially when it comes to Ripple and the tokenization revolution's links to the XRP system. First, let's talk about the fact that Ripple wrote this post a few days after the Boston Consulting Group released a white paper on tokenization. The market for tokenized financial assets is growing quickly as more institutions accept them. In our new study with BCG, we look at key use cases, infrastructure needs, and how to integrate institutions. Speaking of which, the tipping point for tokenization is getting closer. The world's financial system is about to enter a new era, and tokenized assets are about to take off, reaching $19 trillion by 2033. I read that study a little, and it's very detailed and full of useful information. I think everyone should go see it because, after all, this is your money that's being spent. So listen and learn more because these predictions are very good. But the most important thing to remember is that tokenization is happening, and it's happening very quickly. The big players are also ready to join in. They're ready to start using tokenization. They want to put all of their money into it. This study came out around the same time. Bitcoin put out a big report on how fast tokenization is really growing. Tokenized US bonds worth $4 billion, 0 cents, are up 415% year over year. And TVL private credit worth $12 billion, 0 cents, is in first place, 50 billion in tokenized assets by 2025. I've heard a lot of talk this year about how much that number could be. Made tokens, we've tokenized about $20 billion, 0 cents worth of value so far. And we've heard that by 2025, the number could be anywhere from $50 billion, 0 cents to $100 billion, 0 cents. Let's think about what it would take for that number to grow to, say, $1 trillion. 0 cents. That's likely to happen very quickly since going from nothing to 20 billion seemed to happen in an instant. The push for tokenization is linked to big players like BlackRock, which is why this is the case. We also look at the big banks. Many people forget that big banks like HSBC are connected to Ripple's safekeeping platform. At first, this was called Medico in 2023, but HSBC used it for tokenized stock offerings. It's crazy that one of the biggest banks in the world is linked to Ripple. The world, they're very big. They'll have $5,660 billion, 0 cents in assets by 2023. That's crazy. $6.81, quadrillion is a lot of money. All the big banks are also going to offer regular chartered right back in 2023, which is pretty cool. They had their Zodiac. Custody has become a part of Ripple's medical platform and is now just called Ripple Custody. This is because big players in the market are using storage and payment solutions for anything tokenized, such as digital goods and valuable things that have been tokenized. Ripple has been behind this from the start, and when we really think about it, we can see that it has paid off a lot. Now that we're talking more about Zodiac custody, a lot of big moves are happening. This is where a lot of the hidden links to things like security really become clear. Does this mean that BlackRock has joined forces with Ripple and is ready to use XRP in the XRP PPL? Not really, but it does give us more information about some links that go to other things. Going back to BlackRock, these links could lead to something like a relationship or an announcement, but let's check this out any way we can. So here's the link. Zodia Standard Chartered said it is now a securitized custody service. BlackRock's partner in tokenization is Securitized Zodia. Zodia works with Ripple Custody and MetaQ Securitized purchased Ripple and said the XRP would be used for this. Also, remember that Zodiac Custody can be used for both storage and payment. What does it all mean? Right now, Securitized isn't using the XRP platform for BlackRock, but compared to the early days of payments, they seem to be getting a bigger share of this market with bigger players, which is very great. I agree with this 100%. We also need to look at the most recent purchase, which I think is a big one. Still, Brad Garlinghouse did hint to BlackRock that they might be able to use Hidden Road through Ripple. For example, when we bought Hidden Road this week, we paid 1.2 billion yen for something called a prime broker. Please see this. It makes sense for even bigger banks like BlackRock and the biggest Wall Street banks to get into the market. With a safer prime broker to help clear trades and a bigger balance sheet to do that, it's good for business as a whole. Again, the way he put that sounds very interesting, and there are a lot of other names that could have been used instead of BlackRock. Also, remember that BlackRock and even Brad Garlinghouse, Larry Frink and Brad Garlinghouse couldn't talk about BlackRock possibly having an XRP ETF. The big question is why, and one possible answer is a conflict of interest. Thanks to Bank XRP for this clip. We don't know why they couldn't talk about it, but I'm talking about it. CNBC just said that tokenization is now commonplace, and I even said that we are no longer just talking about it, it is happening right in front of us. Now, BlackRock sounds the alarm on real tokenization. CEO Larry Frink of BlackRock says that the market for everything from stocks to bonds to real estate will soon be tokenized if we can just fix one thing. The main points have now been written down. Larry Frink is the CEO of BlackRock and the world's biggest money manager. He wants all assets such as stocks, bonds, real estate, and more to be able to be traded online on a blockchain. He says that this idea of tokenization would change how people own and spend money, but digital proof is a big problem that needs to be fixed first. That could happen. We already knew BlackRock had been pushing digital IDs for a while, so this is pretty cool. I also think that all of this is part of the main plan. It's been on our minds. We've been taking care of it. Is everything going well for us? Not really. I've said it more than once. I don't like digital IDs, and it is possible to track and trace them. We have to accept that the biggest players are speeding things up in any way they can. I think the trade war and tariff talks are really speeding up the push on digital tools, which is what's causing this. But no matter what, Larry Frink's dream has come true, and all of our assets, online trading of stocks, bonds, real estate, and other things would be possible on a blockchain. Frink is the CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest money manager. In his most recent letter to investors, he said that tokens could be used for anything. BlackRock has been putting everything they have into tokenization. They've been talking about how big it will be. Tokenization is going to happen again. I'm not excited about what they're trying to do with digital IDs, and it's always like, oh, there's a big problem here. AI makes fakes. If we have that digital ID, we can believe anything. It's pretty funny, right? We all know that there's always a problem that needs to be talked about so that we can find a solution. In this case, the answer is already known. It's not paper IDs. You need to make sure that your KYC and all of that is in order. That's just very interesting to me. But no matter what, we know that BlackRock has been in favor of tokenizing everything for about 3 years now. This is a big statement, especially coming from one of the biggest, most popular news sites, WBCN. At this point in time, BlackRock